Check. Check 1, 2. Hi, friends. Nice to see you. Busy day today. Busy day. We got a big announcement today. We've got a new partner to join the Crier Media Network and the Dean Blundell Show official partnership program. We're going to chat with maybe the coolest young lady you'll ever meet in your life. So hold on for that. Entrepreneur, just a little saucy. Yeah, I don't want to give him too much away. Yeah, I don't want to give it. I've known this person for a very long time. One of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And she's joining the network. And she's also one of the smartest, whip-smart individuals you'll ever meet. And she also does something not many people do. And she's also an educator. Anyway, we'll get to that coming up in a few minutes. Also, big news about Twitter's new casual sex program. We've got some Joe Rogan, Elon Musk news. And Lochlin Cross is here today, ladies and gentlemen. And you look like you just finished changing the oil on your car. Like you literally, you got like an old trucker hat. You got a Bills hoodie on. You legitimately look like you just finished mowing the lawn, changing the oil, doing something Alberta manly. That's what you look like.
I rushed home because you wanted to do the pod, and I had a massage. A friend of mine, I went to the Tool concert with him, and he was telling me it's hard to find a massage therapist. Like I'm talking deep tissue, get in there, deal with your shit.
Yeah.
Massage therapist. And if you do that dance, have you done the massage thing before?
Yeah.
That kind of massage?
Yeah.
It's tough because
deep tissue? Are you talking a deep tissue massage?
Yeah, I'm not talking a rub and tug. I'm talking.
Are you talking shiatsu?
Yeah.
What are you talking?
Yeah. Just therapeutic massage.
RMT? Is that what you're talking?
I don't want to go too deep here, but I broke my tailbone when I was 40, and then I got into yoga. I tried a bunch of different things. Massage was actually very helpful. I got into I had this one woman that was great, and then she moved, and I haven't really gone to anybody probably for 3, 4, maybe even longer years. And I've been in quite a bit of discomfort lately, even with the daily yoga. And so a friend of mine, and I've been just procrastinating finding somebody because I don't like that whole dance of going, and then you don't like that person, and then they don't really get in there and do what they need to do. But this guy, he was swearing up and down about her, and oh my God, she was holy.
She give you the business?
Shit.
Did she get the elbows in there? She get the knee in there?
Well, I've got like, I think I've got repetitive motion injuries from yoga in my hamstrings and down into my, and holy mother of God. She also did my arms and found something I didn't know I had. And yeah.
So
what?
What did she find that you didn't have in your arm? I want to know that story.
A knot, a weird knot.
Did she work it out? Did she work that knot out of your arm? Was this a place that takes like insurance, or is this one of those places that's open until 2:00 in the morning?
No, legit. Like,
all right,
massage therapy. I got in the car, Dean, and I was like, I called you, and I'm like, I don't think I should be driving.
Did she rub your front too, or just the back? She did the front.
She stuck to my legs, my shoulder, and my arm, and my neck a bit.
Good for you.
But yeah, I'm going back. I feel great. I feel
good.
Yeah.
Good for you. I'm excited. It ties into
oddly, and that wasn't even planned.
I know. You just came back from a massage. We do have other topics to come up today, by the way. We're going to talk about how I'm all into Canadian politics again. It's huge. It's huge. Halloween did incredible things for me in Canadian politics. I'll explain it in a minute. But right now, I want to introduce a partner. Brand new partner. An official partner of the Dean Blundell Show. Official partner of Crier Media. These two young ladies, we're going to chat with one of them today. We're going to meet both of them as we continue to develop this beautiful relationship, loving, beautiful relationship, opening up like a flower, like a beautiful lotus or some kind of iris or maybe some other type of flower as we continue to, do that, whatever.
Are you making a vagina reference?
No.
No, okay.
Disgusting. No,
okay.
Of course not.
I don't know.
Well, I'm just
digging.
telling you.
You're digging. You're searching
I'm looking for.
Just say it. Vagina.
Well, yeah, I guess it kind of plays. And I've met this young lady probably about 15 years ago. She came into our office, our studios, when I was at the Edge, and she did something I thought was illegal. Turns out it's not. Turns out 14 years later, she is the owner operator of one of, if not the most high end, classiest, most reputable sensual massage parlors in Canada. It is located here in Toronto, 1290 Finch Avenue West.
What's it called?
MUSE Massage Spa is now the official sensual massage partner of the Dean Blundell Show, and she's here today, Emily, the owner. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh.
Hey, hi everybody.
Hi, you. We were talking. We've been yamming off air. We've been talking in the stream before you got here because you were coming back from your massage and forgot how to log onto a computer for a good 20 minutes. And I can tell you, when did I meet you, Em? Was it 15 years ago? 14, 15 years ago? Is that correct?
14 years ago or so.
Yeah.
I sent you cookies.
You did. Weren't they dick-shaped cookies, if I'm not mistaken? Were they penis?
No, they were long stem like roses. They just included some coupons.
Yes, sure.
That's right. Okay. I remember that. I thought
and then I gave y'all a ring.
Yeah, you did. And then you came in, if I remember.
And then we came in.
Came down to the radio station. And
did she give you a cock ring? Did you use it?
No, a ring, like a phone call.
No, we haven't gotten married yet.
See, I'm Emily, I'm stuck in a certain groove just based on
the industry.
The industry. Yeah, what you do.
Yeah.
So
well, this is why Em's here. And so Em calls me. We've known each other for a long time. She's like, hey, listen, I've got a bunch of stuff at Muse. I want to talk to you about what we're doing. So Em is the official Dean Blundell Show partner, MUSE Massage Spa, and she's got her own podcast called MUSE On The Mic. You're like a digital maven now, Em.
Hey, I'm trying. It's new, but we're excited. It's been really fun so far. I'm kind of jealous of what you do all the time. It's interesting.
What do you mean, like hang out at home and just go on a live stream and drink coffee all day and watch
shoot
my
the
wiener
shit.
get smaller?
Absolutely. Run your mouth, get yelled at on Twitter. It's fabulous.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that we connect a lot through Twitter. You like our tweets, I like your tweets. You and I have a long history, but take us through, and Lochlin, who just got back from massage, take us through the difference between where he was and what you do at Muse.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that by the end you would feel very similar to how you're feeling right now, Lochlin, because there's that euphoric relaxation that definitely comes afterwards. Except at Muse, there's a happy ending. It's very erotic. There's lots of sensual, sexy fun. Everyone can go to like first, second, third base and call it legal, which is very cool. But I think we also fill a bit of a hole where I know a lot of RMTs and, that medical side of massage therapy often deal with customers that ask for happy endings. And I love when an RMT can refer them to Muse, because that means they can have an easier day and we can make the gentleman happy. It's a win-win.
So, yeah. Now, it was funny because when you came to me like 14, 15 years ago, when you started Muse, it's 14 years, right? You're just celebrating your 14th. Is that correct?
Yeah, in June.
Do you remember when you came in and I'm like, hang on a second, is this legal? Do you remember that? Do you remember that conversation? Yeah.
You had a lot of questions.
It's legal. It's legal in Alberta as well. Actually, is it municipalities that regulate the massage parlor? So it's legal in Toronto. It may not be legal in like Mississauga, but it might be legal in Edmonton, may not be legal in Calgary, that kind of thing. It's based on cities, right?
Yes. And actually, Edmonton is one of the only places in the country that have legal brothels as well.
Yeah. I did know
you're
that.
Kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so can I
that's where you're expanding to next, I would say. I would.
Can
I ask a question, Emily? And this is a legit because I've always and I will be honest, and I don't want this to seem like this is coming from like any other place other than concern for people that do this on the street. I've always sort of maintained that you're not going to get rid of this type of commerce, right? So why not find a way to regulate it, keep it safe, keep the women safe, and actually go out of your way to create an environment where people can take advantage of this service if they so choose, as opposed to driving up, on a street corner in the middle of the winter, right, where this individual has been outside all night, and who knows who she's getting into. You know what? I'm very pro what you do, but what's the other side of that story? Do you get a lot of pushback? I mean, I'm not talking religious. I'm just
pushback from who? Like groups, special interest lobbies, that kind of stuff? Churches, assholes, prudes?
I'm dead serious. Emily, I 100% am for what you do, and I think we
both know that sex work is work. We both are huge advocates for women and men who decide that this is their business. This is what they do. They are professionals. And listen, I would not have Em on this show if she wasn't A, an educator, and B, one of the most socially and human responsible people I've ever met. So anyway, go ahead, Em, answer that.
But you do get pushback, right? And what's the angle that they approach you with if they are concerned about what it is that you're doing and providing?
So we don't actually get any direct pushback like through our front doors as Muse specifically, but we definitely go through phases or kind of like trends through politics has trends where there might be a focus all of a sudden where it's the target, just like you see, all of a sudden in America, it's like LGBTQ or banning books or whatever the thing is of the day. And sometimes sex work definitely comes up as the thing. In 2014, the federal Canadian government revisited their prostitution laws under the Harper government, and a conservative government was trying to criminalize what was decriminalized here. And we ended up with a model called the Nordic model, which is not something that sex workers support, but it is the law.
Sounds so sexy, isn't it? Isn't it, Em? It sounds so hot. Okay, ladies, we'll give you the Nordic model.
The Nordic model.
Does she come in with a ridiculous big hat, like a buffalo hat, and she's got horns on it?
Yeah.
Is that
anyway? Continue. Sorry.
There's no Vikings involved.
Like, it's not a kink, but if she was wearing the hat, I'd let her keep it on.
Listen, that could be done. That could be done.
We'll get there. Don't worry, Locke.
But
we'll get to that.
In general, what the Nordic model is it basically allows a worker to work for free, or freely, legally, without any of the other stuff being legal. So we had to actually fight for clauses that would allow, let's say, a worker to hire a driver, or if they're running their own independent business, to have an accountant or a booker, someone who answers the phone and handles, your clients and your affairs. All of those kind of things push into what I find a very bizarre way of regulating the industry. What would be ideal for sex workers on all levels, whether it's street level all the way up to high end, would be decriminalization, because legalization means the government is all up in your shit, right? And when it's decriminalized, it's giving people freedom of choice. And I feel like choice is the most important thing to workers in this industry. And in order to be able to provide indoor sex work where outdoor workers could come inside and feel safe, they need autonomy for those kinds of things. And if they don't have a say-so over their rates, over their safety, over their medical concerns, over screening of clients, hours of operation, all kinds of different factors, they end up kind of under the thumb of something else. And what I love about the way our licensing and legalities work here in Toronto is each woman is an independent contractor. So she has her own autonomy to either choose to work or not work. She can work in whatever parlor she wants, and the licensing permits her to do that. Now, as a licensed body rub parlor ourselves as the company, we expect visits. We get, license checks and bylaw visits and police visits once in a while, just to make sure everything's on the up. But I think it's important they do that too, because there's definitely the other side of the industry. There's
room for abuse on all levels, right? Yeah. So
100%. Licensing doesn't eliminate that. Legality doesn't eliminate that. So when something's decriminalized, it allows people and workers especially to establish a collective of sorts where they could share, an indoor space, or they could share a driver if it saves money. You can have teams where you're letting people, no different than a first date. You're really nervous as a woman. You want to tell your friend where you're going. You can cover for each other that way. You can file your taxes properly. You can have a bank account without it being shut down. You can do all kinds of more things liberally and freely under decriminalization. So when that happened, I somehow got pulled into activism because I'm face forward. It wasn't part of my plan. But before I knew it, I wrote a paper and submitted it to all the senators that were debating this in Congress at the time. And I ended up going to the actual government to speak to these people. And it was fucking terrifying.
Good for
But
you,
one of
Emily.
the senators picked up my paper and really took a liking to it. And with that, I included an entire huge file of success stories from past workers who were proving the point that there can be sex work by choice. Adult consenting sex work is legitimate work, as well as stories from customers on how this has affected their life, changed their life for the better, helped them through loss or death or medical concerns or all kinds of different companionship issues that every adult goes through at some point in their life. And so the fact that we were able to convey that to the alt-right and the religious groups and all of the people that were yelling and screaming about what it is that we do, they're just in complete denial that there's such thing as a consenting adult who would choose sex work. And I think it makes them really mad that we find it really fun.
And hot too, by the way,
It's
right?
fun, it's hot, it's sexy, it's financially profitable. It's all the things that, you know, good Catholic girls are not supposed to be. I was raised a good Catholic girl, so
you took a turn, Em. You took a turn, and I like that about you. But let me ask you something. What is still criminalized in sex work in Ontario? Let's just deal with that before. I know you probably have different rules in Edmonton, but you want decriminalization. What is criminalized in your industry? Like, what are things that you have to stay away from?
So it's actually federal right now that technically the customer is the one who could be criminally punished. Now that's different when you're walking into a licensed facility like ours or going to a strip club or something like that. But if you're literally pulling up, you know, on the street or doing some sort of, well, the retired Craigslist exchange, a customer could be liable for that kind of thing. And so providing an indoor licensed facility makes it so much safer for the customer to be able to come in and legally purchase a service they need.
So Muse is one of those, and by the way, and listen, even though we've been friends for a long time, I have not had the pleasure of going to Muse, but we are going to go there to record some things and hang out. But Muse,
Emily, he really wants to get his salad tossed. He keeps bringing it up on this podcast.
I have some recommendations for you, Dean.
Oh, I'm sure you do. We'll get to those in just a second because I want to know more.
Listen, don't be shy, Dean. He's not very flexible. So he's not going to be able to get into the right position. So they're going to have to be creative with how they do it. But
they have straps and stirrups and stuff.
We won't need you to be legs back. It's okay. We'll keep your dignity a little.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Listen, if that happens,
I don't know if there's a way to keep your dignity while someone's tossing your salad. Emily, I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't want to taint what you're doing at all, but I'm just saying if a guy's getting his salad tossed, I am pretty sure dignity was the last thing that guy was thinking about when he bent down on his back and put his knees up to his chest.
You know, we're doing an educational piece, and you just decided to throw salad tossing into the mix for fun, right? Like we're trying to talk about the industry here. We got a brand new partner on the show.
Emily, tell me somebody hasn't come in there and go, I just really want to get my salad tossed.
And I'll leave.
What's that cost?
Like 7 times a day.
Okay, thank you. Dean, this is education. This is what it's about. Don't be shy, buddy. Don't be shy. I don't want a video of it, but I do want to. I want to hear about how it all went down.
I don't want my salad tossed. I got wedgied in high school. I'm super averse to anything being in that area, and I just had a colonoscopy.
Yeah,
I don't remember it.
You're saying?
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Something about protesting.
God, thou dost protest too much means you dig it. Okay. Muse has been around for 14 years. You're down to one location. You sold the other location in Vaughan. You and Riley, your partner, who's going to join us at some point, she just can't today because she's busy. You're also renovating at Muse. Take us through what Muse is, because I want to know about the spa. I want to know about what the services are that you want. I know what the services are. We've had in-depth there are a lot of people out there that don't know that, that there is a very responsible, very hygienic, very professional way for you to have companionship, live out a fantasy, go there with couples. You can go there on your own. Let's get into it. What is Muse?
I love it. Muse is Disneyland. It's the greatest place on earth, first of all. But we really wanted to present a high-end kind of spa hotel type atmosphere. So everything's really modern, really updated, super clean. I mean, even more so since the pandemic, right? I've never cleaned so many light switches and doorknobs and shit in my life. But in essence, there's even laws and bylaws that regulate our cleanliness things. So every girl requires medical tests and background checks before she gets licensed. Every attendant is licensed. The spa is licensed as well. When you come into the facility, we have this gorgeous front lobby, which is actually my favorite part of the whole spa, including a retail shop. If you want to get any spicy little toys, we've got those on stash for you. One of our lovely female.
You got butt plugs? Yeah, you do. You got lube.
Yeah.
You got,
of course
you got
we
like
do.
branded lube. God, I love you. All right, continue. Sorry.
We got edible things. We got bum things. We got all the things. It's fun.
Yeah, good. All right.
So one of our awesome managers will greet you. All of our managers are women, and they're super, super friendly. And they will take you right into the room and put you in one of our beautiful treatment rooms, which includes a bunch of mirrors, a gorgeous massage table, a huge shower that could fit at least 7 people. All kinds of handhelds and body jets and all the things. We've got some cool, funky, like sexual position furniture in the rooms as well. And you're left to take a shower before the session starts. And in terms of what the sessions are, we have so many different options because we like to be creative. But in general, you purchase a chunk of time. So whether it's a half an hour, you want to do 2 hours, you kind of choose from there. You
3
can
minutes?
do, I mean, that's between you and your penis. But you can go for round 2 if you're that guy. That's fine.
Man,
That's fine.
man, I might
Eat your
not need
Wheaties,
an
take a
hour.
nap.
Yeah, atta girl. Yeah, you can go for round 2 in the same hour.
Right?
Continue.
Right?
Yeah.
So we also offer duo sessions with 2 girls. We have a signature session that we invented called the MUSE Mixer, which is kind of like speed dating meets a relay race. So it's 1 hour, and every 20 minutes, the girls swap out and a new chick comes in. So that keeps you busy.
No shit.
Yeah.
Let's look at it. Here's Muse. This is some of the stuff that you offer. You can actually have a look at some of the room. Dude, it's like super
This is
classy. This is
amazing.
like the
It's
most
gorgeous.
high-end, absolutely reputable. It is from the people that I know that frequent your establishment, and I know several.
Yay.
To an individual, men and women, by the way, to an individual, this is it in the country. This is the most high-end, well-run, most reputable organization for these kinds of services in the country. And you can have a look at what they do and have a look at some of their offerings, and you can see how clean it is too, right? They got an espresso machine. You go
We
in,
got a
you have
coffee bar.
They got a
That's
coffee
awesome.
bar lock. Look at that. You can choose an espresso. You can get a big coffee, maybe an Americano. And then, of course, you've got pictures of the ladies. And then you got this beautiful long hallway. This is very deco. It's quite nice. And then, of course, you've got some of the stir sticks, sugar. And then there's the room. Like you've got that's a massive shower. Now, I'm new to the whole idea that there are showers in all these rooms, correct? Like, what is the protocol for a client when they go in? What happens?
It's probably for the women more than anything.
I don't think
right?
so. I think it's for the client, if I'm not mistaken. Em. I
Well,
don't know.
yes, but
It's a
I'm
bit of
saying, I mean, if let's say I was given handies out on a regular basis at Muse, right?
Yeah,
Handies from Lock. I've already got my business name. I'm going to get some T-shirts made up.
as you should.
I would want, if I'm giving a handy to a dude, I would want him to smell better than he probably did when he walked in. So the shower is for them, Dean. The shower is for them. Get in there, Stinky.
The client.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's for the girls. The girls are going to have a way better time if the guy doesn't stink. It's for them. Why is
that
this so
happening in
confusing for you?
Because I don't understand, dude. This is all new to me. I've just only heard about the showers, and I don't know who's the person that's taking the shower. Like if it was me and if it was my business, I'd be like, that's my shower. I'm gonna get in the shower. But I don't know the protocol.
It's actually bylaw. It's actually bylaw that a customer has to shower before anyone gives them a treatment. Right? They did one thing right. I know.
Exactly. That's common sense.
I told you it's for the client. It's not for the rubber.
It's a bit of
You're
both, guys.
not listening to me. I'm not telling you that she needs the shower. I'm saying she's going to benefit from the dude showering.
Well, it's a law. Is that a law, Em? Is that what you're saying?
It's actually it's a bylaw. It's a bylaw for our licensing. Absolutely. But you're both right. I always tell guys, the cleaner you are, the more places she's going to go. But if the session's any good, you both need a shower at the end. Right? Boom.
Yeah, you both need a shower at the end. Let's get into some of the programs you have too, because you've got Muse is incredible. By the way, this is the front page of the website, Muse Massage Spa. MuseMassageSpa.com is where you can go. That's the beautiful Riley, the beautiful Emily. They've got a podcast called MUSE On The Mic, which you can get on YouTube, MUSE On The Mic. They've got a TikTok channel as well. And very soon you'll be able to access this
I'll have to follow you
exclusively. Yeah, you should. Exclusively at crier.co. Crier Media will be hosting this podcast as well. And we'll get to the podcast in just a second. But take me through the, some of the things you have at the top here. It's like choose your muse. I'm not going to press that because we're going to see nudity and get wiped off YouTube.
There's nudity on the webpage?
Oh yeah, there's a little nudity. Yeah, there's some nipple. There's some
nipples.
There's
a little nipple. There's no vaginas on the website.
No, I looked.
I love it.
I was on the website for a long period of time. Treatments. Now let's go to treatments because you've got a variety of options for treatments, correct? Like when someone comes in, they can it's like a menu, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a menu.
Absolutely.
Take me through it. I want to know about the menu. You want to educate people. What happens?
I love it. So our standard sessions is probably the first option that comes down that little treatment menu, are just the most simplistic of sessions that we offer. It includes all of the naked time, essential massage at the beginning, lots of foreplay, happy ending, showers on both ends. And that's just a matter of choosing how much time you want, whether it's half an hour, 45 minutes, they go up to 2 hours. Listen, if you want 5 hours, we'll give you a price for it. From there, you can pick some more kind of our fancier premium sessions, which include the duos, the Muse mixer. We have something called the power play. That's a 45-minute session that starts off with one girl, and in the last 15, a second one adds in. So it's a duo near the end for the grand finale. How Canadian, right?
Oh my God. The power play sounds like it fucking hurts, is what it sounds like.
How do guys do that?
Yeah.
Oh, they're champions. They're champions.
How do you handle blacking out? Because I black out every time I have sex. Like, is there people on hand to deal with that?
You might want to talk to your doctor about that.
I'm pretty sure I haven't remembered sex since I was 21.
That's worse than a boner for 4 hours. Definitely go to ER.
Okay, so you get the power hour or whatever.
Power play. We've got fetish sessions if you have any kind of kinks and freaky things. If you like feet, if you like role play, different outfits, costumes, all kinds of different fetishes, body worship, all kinds of fun things. We have couples services as well, and our couples are some of my favorites, actually. They are sometimes very green and nervous and curious. Some of them come from a much more experience. They're already kind of in a lifestyle or swingers and such, and they just want to kind of get back to basics. What's that?
I followed you on TikTok.
He likes to show people.
Awesome.
He likes to show people his phone like at least twice a show.
We has ruckus on TikTok. It's fun.
I know you do.
You know what I find interesting about this is I think that you're going a long way to scrub some stigma, right? And I think it's a good thing. I do you realize how much you're doing for society, Emily? I hope you do, because I think all of this is just so good. We have such an unhealthy view of sexuality and these types of things, and I think we do more harm than good by how we treat it, right? And
100%.
Yeah, I think it's all good. I think it's great. The more conversation we can have like this with people like you, and I gotta say, I think you're the perfect personality to run a place like this, because I can't imagine it's easy considering the group that you're bringing in to work with. You have this very approachable personality. I get the sense that the girls probably love you, trust you, and you have probably a perfect personality to deal with, the difficulties of managing people in any business, not just this business.
And here's the thing about him, like you know, and it's not something that you were going to share, but after you got doxxed by the Toronto Sun, you might as well share it, is that you've been in this industry for a very long period of time. So you foster that environment. And how did you get your start in this? How did you start in the industry itself?
I actually worked in massage parlors for 8 years myself. So I was a worker. And back then there was no Muse. There was just some kind of shitty low end options. And I kind of came into it sort of by accident. I was job searching at the time. I was bored with a very successful corporate career. I started my corporate life very young. By the time I was 18, I was a general manager for Good Life Fitness, overseeing a whole section of 6 different clubs. And I was very bored by the grind. And I figured if I'm bored at 19, like what's going to happen when I'm 22? What's going to happen when I'm 25? And so on. And I was looking for something just a little more exciting that I could do part-time. And I kept my career in the fitness industry for a while. And then I decided to go back to school too, because massage was quite profitable. So I went and got myself another degree. And next thing you know, it was 8 years. I had done a lot of good things with the money. I didn't purchase some investment property and all kinds of cool things like that. I was with a group of girls that were really great, but it was really kind of low end. It was kind of a grimy, icky spa I was working in, if you could call it a spa. It was an apartment over a karaoke bar in Scarborough.
It's come a long way.
Awesome.
Yeah, you've come a long way. Yeah.
Woo,
They
Lord.
had an illegal massage parlor underneath this bar that we used to always play at. And I remember I was in this band and we did gigs there like every couple of months. And after about the 3rd gig, I said, something's going on down there. Like we're in the back and we're like hauling gear and you can see like the exchange of people. And I remember thinking I'd said it out loud to I think the bass player. And he's like, "Well, you dummy, it's a massage parlor." I'm like, "What?"
But that's how they had to exist for a
basement.
long period of time, right, Em? Like up
Yeah.
until like when you were in the game and you were working, there were no real, from my understanding, it was illegal back then by and large, right?
There were still the 25 body rub licenses, but none of them were set up to be nice. They were still just as grimy as the kind of under the table operations. And those bylaws and those licenses were actually established in the 80s. So they've been around for a long time. But that's part of what makes a grandfathered license so special and so damn hard to get. But a lot of those incognito places are not always so incognito either. There's like nail shops you can go into where they just have a curtained off place in the back, and that's where the male customers seem to go. And I'm like, come on, lady, you're not fooling me.
Oh no, dude, it's hilarious. So I live in Markham, which is widely known as you know it, the rub and tug capital of Canada, right?
Fact.
And the East Beaver Creek area, which is like the industrial business area where all the head offices and all the other stuff. They every 2 weeks there was a massive article on like 12 rub and tugs busted. And it's like, oh my God. But there's a difference, right? Because you've got there's a loophole when it comes to holistic versus licensed. And to your point,
so many jokes that I'm just letting go. I just want to point out that I am trying to behave.
You're doing an okay job.
So
but there are 25 body rub licenses available in the city of Toronto, and you have one, but did you not start out as holistic as well? Is that not what happened?
We did. In my career, I only worked holistic, so I kind of was afraid a little bit of the whole body rub world.
By the way, holistic is like, just to give everybody a thing, like an idea of what holistic is. It's like a place that says licensed massage, and it's got like a flower on the thing, and it's like shiatsu, Reiki, or a foot.
I've seen the foot. Yeah,
and it's got a neon sign that says open till 2 a.m. That's when you know you're not going to be using your insurance there. I'm just letting you know. Anyway, continue, Em. Go ahead.
They should allow insurance.
That's how it works.
It's the open till 2 a.m. for me. That's hilarious. I love it. I love it. But there's a number of holistic parlors in this city. It's definitely a loophole in terms of operational costs, to skirt under the radar somewhat. Bylaw is still very aware that they exist, and they do patrol and sometimes shut them down. It just takes a long time, and court proceedings, appeals, all the usual stuff. So it has to be worth it for them to do anything about it. Whereas for us, we are as allowed to be what we are as a strip club is allowed to be a strip club, as a bar is allowed to serve liquor, as a casino could be a casino. So that gives us legitimacy in that regard. And the 25 are all grandfathered. There's no new licenses issued. Now, I feel a little biased because I worked as a holistic worker, so I get the whole game. But now, as a body rub owner, which we switched to in 2011, no thanks to our competitors, I like where we are now, and I feel so much more comfortable with it. And I dislike the way that holistics operate and misuse their licensing, because they sure as hell spend a lot less money. I'll say that. We pay about $14,000 a year for our license. They spend $300. So kind of a difference.
Yeah. It's an
So
it's an
someone
unfair
rips-
playing
If
field.
someone rips skin when you go there at a holistic place, you know why. That's all I'm saying. You know why. Very
But
unhealthy.
the thing with, I think the turning a blind eye to it is, I think at the end of the day, regardless of where the city councilors sit on their opinions of these businesses, it is a way to keep these women off the street, right? Like, and I think if you can do that and give them some place indoors to do this, I think everyone's benefiting, right? And that's my sense of it. I wish they would go further, right, to maintain
Totally
the safety.
decriminalize it. Yeah.
Some of these holistic places do have a bad rap for how they treat the workers, right? So
do some of the body rubs, though. I will say there's a reason why I genuinely think Muse is one of the safest. Muse is the only independently female-owned parlor. There are definitely some that are fronted by females, some that have the kind of the face-of situation, but they've got secret backers and silent partners and money funneling in from all kinds of questionable places. But it's kind of, we started the trend of building a glamorous facility, and it used to be that the nicer it was, the safer the worker probably was. And now some of the shitty people build nice spas, and it's not necessarily that the girls are treated well. And
that's too bad.
In fact, some of the not my taste, but nicer ones are actually some of the places where I worry about the girls the most, which is upsetting.
Really? Damn.
Is that a concern in that industry still? Obviously, I think it's different, right? Because you've got itemized people, very objectified industry. You've got people that literally think they're there just to get their rocks off. They're like socks, right? So, but you have and they don't look at it like you look at it or I look at it. Like it's a services related business. You're there to give companionship. You're there to, make a fantasy come true. But what is that industry like? Like, what is the competition like in that industry? If like those licenses are worth what they're worth, it's got to be cutthroat.
It's so cutthroat. And this is where I think the podcast comes in, because we've been sitting on some of these stories for so long, because people have done some terrible things to us to try to run us out of business, to try to stop us right from when we started. One of my favorite stories is from early when we first opened. We were so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and completely naive the first day, thinking it was going to be ram-packed. We were both dressed like whores. It was weird. But we thought it was going to be all the things. And like any business, it took a while to build steady clientele. But we ended up learning, I want to say about 2 some odd months in, that a particular collection of our competitors had a bet going with a calendar and everything on how many days until we would flop and shut down, thinking that we weren't going to succeed. And there was real money and real wagers on this lovely fucking calendar.
Wow.
But it just started from there. People called law enforcement on us. People called the tax man on us. People called the Better Business Bureau on us. They called health inspectors and labor boards and you name it. They called every governing authority possible to try and mess with us, which included the newspaper that ended up what actually pushed us to change from holistic to a body rub. They sent private investigators after us and submitted packages to licensing, sent the Toronto Sun to a tribunal hearing where we were going to get the license. Then outed us to our families, put my face all over the internet. Like there's so much shit that they've done. Up until this day, they still do it. People have hacked our website, our emails. They send in poachers and moles and like you name it. It's got to be on Netflix one day. That's all I'm gonna say.
Like almost like they're gonna run out of guys to yank and rub. Like that is the most fucking amazing thing to me. It's like there are industries that are impervious to recessions. The sex trade is one of them. There's a lot of business out there for you, to your point. And I remember when you got doxxed, because it was in the Toronto Sun. You had skeevy reporters. This is Riley from your podcast at Muse on the Mic. You can go and check it out anywhere you get your fine podcast. Literally, Locke, I remember when they got outed, because I'm like, oh, I know those people. They came to the radio station. Just started this rubbing tub, and they got doxxed by newspaper people. They literally, like, the Toronto Sun, because it's like super right leaning, and they're like, they cater to the evangelical weirdos who are like, we're afraid of our penises, we're afraid of boobs. Like they came after you as a media outlet, did they not?
Oh yeah, they absolutely did. And it included sending some overt reporters, some secret reporters we didn't know were following or investigating on things, calling friends and family for interviews and comments and shit like that. There was payoffs. There was, like, you name it. I was like, if y'all spent half this time and money on your own fucking business, you would have beat us at our own game anyway. But you were so distracted chasing us around in circles.
You probably got more advertising out of that.
100%.
What was business like the day after you both got doxxed with that news article in the Toronto Sun? By the way, there was no internet back then. Well, there was no social media. What was business like? Was it fucking awesome?
Business was booming, but I couldn't get Riley out of bed because she was in hiding.
Seriously, like, these guys, when they wrote that article, they outed her and you to your families, correct?
Yes, to our families, to our friends, to strangers, to everybody. Coming up on an episode of the podcast, we're going to talk about even when they harassed my family at their places of work.
The Toronto Sun?
Not just the Sun, the competitors too. Everybody was in on it. Yeah, it was a coalition.
Come on.
Let's talk about collusion. It was collusion. There was fake news. There was all the shit. It was crazy. It was crazy time.
Holy shit. Yeah. I didn't even know that.
And they still mess with us to this day.
Do they really?
Podcast is going to be awesome.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. And they've got a Patreon too, Muse on the Mic on Patreon, where they're like, the YouTube channel is incredible, where they'll be talking about, like, you know, this kind of shit. But they get into the nitty gritty in their Patreon portion of their podcast. So there's a little portion they'll put on YouTube for shorts. Muse on the Mic. It is incredible. Patreon is where you can find it. Is it weird now to, like, look back 14 years and go, because it obviously, you know, the industry is itself. Like, we're talking about it because I find it fantastic. And we're big supporters and advocates of sex workers, and we're big supporters and advocates of normalizing sex. Like, I think everybody should.
For sure.
But yeah, you have to. I mean, especially King. But do you have, like, you look back on it now, and if you could do this again, would you?
Ooh, I would now. If you had asked me back when that shit happened, I would have said no, because it was very scary. It was very scary. Both Riley and I come from relatively conservative, somewhat Christian religious families. My mother is a Catholic school principal. Her mom works in education. Like, we came from good, wholesome people, and I would have preferred that we were able to tell them on our own time, in our own way. I hate that it happened the way it did. I hate how scary and unsafe it made us. Like, I had to move. My house got broken into. Like, all kinds of shit happened from it. Oh, yeah. It wasn't, doxing wasn't even a word back then. And there was no law against it back then. I took those packages that were sent to my family, and I went right to the cop station. They're still wrapped in plastic to this day. And cops looked at me like, what the fuck is that? I don't care about the internet. Like, they really didn't give a shit about any of it, nor did they really care about sex workers. And so to them, it was a nothing burger. But nowadays you talk about doxing, and everybody knows how scary that is. It's a terrifying thing. It's terrifying to be swatted. It's terrifying. Like, all those kinds of things were happening back then. They just didn't really have a name for it. I mean, the amount of fake news out about us that you could find if you dig into the archives of the internet, and for sure some dark web page I've never seen before and don't want to. It's all there. People have been pretty damn nasty to us, but it's only because we were doing what they do better.
One of my first radio gigs, Emily, I had a listener knock at my door. It was like I think we were having dinner.
Like at home, your door?
7 o'clock at night. They had forgot to pick up tickets at the radio station for a show that was happening that night. And they came to my door. And I was like, how did you to this day, I never found out how he found out where I lived, but yeah, that was odd.
Terrifying.
I love how
That's
you're
not
trying
scary.
to relate back to a guy coming to your house for tickets to being doxxed as a sex worker. That's the best. That
I mean,
might
that would
be,
scare the shit out
one
of
of
me
the
too.
worst
I
efforts
just
to
had that
relate I've
memory.
ever
I'm
listened
sorry,
to.
Emily.
In my fucking whole life. One time I had to come to my house for tickets.
I had some trick or treaters
Dean,
yesterday. I don't know.
Dean, you would
These
be.
crazy
I
kids
can't
in
imagine
wild
that happening.
costumes. We're like ding dong.
Dude, during the pandemic, like you remember when the convoy started? Like you want to talk scary? How about when 5 police officers come from TPS with an email saying, "Hey, did you threaten to murder everybody at City Hall and from some account?"
You haven't heard this story, Emily.
Oh yeah. And I'm like, no. He's like, we have 24 legitimate death threats against you. We're gonna sit outside your house for a couple of weeks if that's okay. So
Oh
listen,
my word!
I'm very familiar with that.
You get it.
Unfortunately, though, Lochlin had a listener come to his house to collect.
It was very disconcerting. It was for a show at the Generator. I think it was Junk House was in town, which makes it worse because you can miss Junk House and still live a very happy life.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
He really wanted to go.
And I love Tom. I'm not disparaging Junk House, but
smelliest individual I've ever sat next to, Tom from Junk House. That guy smelled like a garbage can. I am not kidding you.
He needs our showers.
Oh, he needs more than a shower. Can we get into kink real quick before we let you go? Can I get into kink? Because I know you do a bunch of stuff. Now here's the thing. Emily from MUSE, the official sensual massage spa of Dean Blundell Show and Crier Media, 1290 Finch Avenue West in the beautiful city of Toronto. If you go to MUSE Massage Spa, you can get it. I know you've got a roster of people
you rattled that off pretty clean.
Not bad. And well, it's official partner. This is business, dude. We don't fuck around. So I know that you cater to people when they come in. Like you said, you have guys that come in to Lochlin's point because this is what he really wants. Thou doth project too much. That'll go, hey, I just want someone to toss my salad and I'll beat it. Are there any kinks where someone has come in and gone, I want to do this, where you're like, you know what? Time out. I need to fucking Google that first. I don't even know what that is. Yeah.
Can you draw me a picture?
Yeah. If I give you some Play-Doh, can you put together an idea of what that looks like?
Can you make this work with Stickman?
Listen, I've doodled before. I'm not gonna lie.
You have?
I've definitely had to draw something out for someone to be like this? Is this what you mean?
Wow.
Definitely. You know what? It takes a lot to shock me, but I don't want to say that too much because as soon as you think you've seen it all, somebody shows up at your damn door. You're like, wait, what? So there's definitely some research involved every once in a while because you always want to be safe and effective. You want to deliver the service properly without hurting anybody. But not all kink is hurtful or potentially hurtful either. It's more about me training my staff. I find that I have so much experience in education from learning these things. I'm also a sexologist, so I teach and I educate all over the place. So the fact that I'm able to kind of guide them through some of these fetishes, the only things that we can't really do is anything that requires like big dungeon type furniture. I don't have a cage. We could pretend we can tie you up and lock you in a room, but I can't put you in a cage. I can't pierce something and hang you from the ceiling. I prefer nothing draws blood.
Have you been asked for the piercing through the chest and hang me from this? You have?
100%. We don't have an electric chair, but we can zap your balls if you need it.
Wow.
It just depends.
Do you have a big bucket of peanut butter in the back?
Dean, you're killing me right now.
Let her keep going. I want to know more. Continue. I want.
I love how that took you out.
Yeah, I did. You shock someone's balls. I'm like, now I want to know if you've got a whole drawer full of ball shockers. But continue. Go ahead.
I mean, we do have a few little electro stim situations for sure. You know what? Most of them aren't too like on the scarier side like that. Like most, even people that want a little bit of like pain and pain tolerance type stuff. I've also learned that some people like
cattle prod.
Oh, I wouldn't want anyone to do that at the spa. I don't think our insurance would cover that one. You just made me do maybe not. Time out.
Yeah, you know how hard that is to make Emily from MUSE go, I'm not doing that one.
Yeah, because normally I'm like, how could we make that work? There's definitely some times where it's a surprise. people with fetishes aren't always very open about wanting to communicate about it. And so sometimes customers like to spring things on you every once in a while. I will never forget.
You mean? In the
Yes.
room. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Post shower.
Go ahead. I'll never forget. Continue. Don't stop. Continue.
Okay. We used to have a client that would come in some of the most expensive suits I've ever seen in real life, and would not tell the girl ahead of time. I knew because I got to know him, but once he would have his shower and she would go to walk into the room to start the session, he was in full women's lingerie with the garters and the stockings, and he would fill up garbage bags with water to make little balloons for his boobs, and wouldn't tell anyone about this ahead of time. So she would walk in and go, "Oh, okay, that's what we're doing today." And it would end up a whole role play talking about his amazing boob job. And that was kind of the gist of it. So harmless fun. But the shock would be like, why wouldn't you tell someone ahead of time, like, hey, I like to role play this, or look what I'm wearing, or no notice, no nothing. Just surprise.
I understand keeping that under wraps.
Yeah, I do too. I wouldn't want anybody to know
I mean,
that either.
He had impeccable taste. The lingerie was just as expensive. It was La Perla everything. Yeah. And lacy, and he liked pink. And it was just, and after he was done, he would not want to talk about it. There was no acknowledgement. The boob job would go in the garbage. The lingerie would often be gifted, and he'd want to talk about football. And I found that hilarious. And as soon as like the happy ending happened, he was like, how about that game on Sunday?
Doug Ford. Is that who that is? Is that who you're talking about? The Premier of Ontario? Is it Doug? It's not that guy. Okay, here's a question. Here's another question I have for you. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you're ready to answer this.
This is fascinating.
Exactly. Do you see anybody that has taken an issue with you publicly, whether it be in the news, whether it be in politics? Mm-hmm. Do you have any clients who are like, that should be shut down? Or anybody who's doxed you, someone from the Sun, someone from the Conservative Party, someone from a religious group that thinks that what you do is untoward. Do you have any of those clients come in?
Yes. Shocker. Hypocrisy at its finest.
I know, like, how many people do you see that walk in where you're like, man, if I didn't want their money, I would kick them out for who they are.
You know what? Once I got into the political side of things, after that whole situation with going to speak to the House of Commons, I was really taken aback at how many people vote conservative that partake in sex work. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I understand my naivete there and my, fuzziness on the industry. But I was really surprised and quite perturbed at how many people voted against our well-being, or voted against what we stand for, or even our right to operate, to exist, even as women. I mean, the further right you get, the less say so I would get, right? So it's conflicting, and I still have to be just as professional and just as lovely to people that I know, would vote MAGA if they could. But aren't they the first ones getting abortions? And aren't they the first ones with 7 mistresses? And aren't they the first ones paying off porn stars?
Yep. That's why I asked. I mean, the hypocrisy in that.
Be able to do what you do without
saying something. I know that would be the most triggering part for me.
I'd be dumping their names a guy rubby.
It would be like watching some guy come in that was in the news going, I voted against this. And he's like, he's a church guy and he's always in the newspaper being, vote for me because I represent family values, and they stroll in with a rock hard boner.
And they're this guy
that tosses my salad. Which guy?
Yeah, which guy? This guy, the head pushers. Yeah,
one of those guys.
Yeah, they're bossy. Yeah. They want all the attention for themselves. They think they're king shit. Yeah, all the things, and then it's like complete when they're done. They can go back to their conservative little life. And I like, that's fine, whatever. But it irks me. I have to bite my tongue on Twitter so fucking often. Because I see them respond to shit.
Can we just play a little game, Emily? Let's just post some pictures of some bigger names in Toronto area in the media. No. And you don't have to say anything. We just want to look at your face when we post the pictures.
No, we can't. Dude, privacy is like one of the most important things.
That's the rule of Fight Club here.
Being very private. We're just judging
I can say
by her responses.
We get We get a lot of actors during TIFF week. We get lots of sports people when playoffs are happening. We have certain sports teams that automatically have VIP packages and corporate packages. We have companies that are definitely donators to alt-right stuff that have corporate accounts with us where all of their staff members get discounts because they're so regular. We
Wow.
we have all kinds of people, politicians and religious leaders and all of it.
Go.
Do you ever get a reverend coming in there, like a priest coming in there with the frock and stuff, or do they take it off before they come in for a quick one?
They take it off.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. Yeah, dude. This is what I like. When Em called me and she's like, "Hey, can we talk about doing some stuff together?" I'm like, absolutely. The only thing I had in my mind was content. Oh my God.
This is fascinating. This
Dude,
is fascinating.
It is because
it's insane.
It's not because of what happens. It's because of the culture of what happens, the hypocrisy of the people who have a problem with what this beautiful young lady does, and the people in that industry just trying to provide for their families, legitimately offering a safe haven for people to come and work, experience a safe sexual experience, also have their balls zapped by a mini electrocutor. Like that's what I love about the content and this partnership with MUSE Massage Spa is like, hey, listen, and I said this to you, you're like, hey, we got a podcast. And we talked about doing a podcast about a year or two ago, did we not? I think we did. Yeah, we talked about it. And then all of a sudden she's like, I'm ready to go. I got a podcast. And I watched every single podcast, every single one. I'm like, dude, this is like unbelievable. If you go to her Patreon, MUSE On The Mic Patreon, and you can subscribe, you get all the juice. Like, that's the thing. We can kind of fart around here and have a good time and allude to different things. But her and Riley go for broke in their podcast without giving up anybody's name. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yes.
Em, thank you. It was so good
welcome.
to see you. Yeah, it's awesome to do this partnership with you. I want to remind
I'm so
everybody.
excited.
Yeah, we are
We're
too.
so glad to be here.
The official sensual massage partner of the Dean Blundell Show. Will we have a corporate account? Will we offer deals? Will we give people an opportunity to experience the MUSE experience? Absolutely. Yes! It is about you. It is about sending people to see the only person I trust in that industry, Em, and her beautiful partner, Riley. 1290 Finch Avenue West is where you can go to get some experiences that you normally can't get in the real world, and you absolutely will be totally confidential thing, so you don't have to worry about that. And the other thing is incredibly safe. And these women are the professionals. They're not just educators. They make you feel great about the experience. Couples, singles, men, women. If you want to become a MUSE, you can do that. Lochlin's probably going to ask me if he can do that later as well. You can go to the website, MuseMassageSpa.com. Check them out there. You can follow. Where are you on Twitter, Em? Give me your Twitter handle real quick. And what's in that coffee cup? First of all,
some vino.
That girl.
It's a Pinot Grigio at the moment, actually.
That is so awesome. Awesome.
I love it.
What's your Twitter?
You threw me off with the wine. Oh, my Twitter. You know what? Our business account got banned like when Elon took over. So I use my personal
weird because
account.
all I see on Twitter now is hardcore porn. So it's amazing that you can't have a Twitter account. What's your personal?
If anyone has a link at Twitter, get me my damn account back. You can find me at Miss_Emily_Muse, and that's now the company account.
Em, great to see you. We're going to have you back on a somewhat regular basis, whether it be bi-weekly, whether it be monthly. I am so grateful that you're here today. I want everybody to get to know this woman, and we're going to get to know her. Don't forget her podcast, MUSE On The Mic, YouTube. You can check her out on Twitter as well. And you can check Emily out, Emily Muse. If you pump that into Twitter in the search bar, you're going to be able to find her. There's a couple underscores in there. Don't worry about it. She's an awesome follow. And listen, if you're looking for work, if you're looking to learn more about the industry, MUSE Massage Spa. .com, and there's more coming, including bingo night. Lock, if you want to go there, be huge. They got a bingo night coming. I love
bingo.
Right, look at this. Look at this. They got bingo.
We got bingo.
Yeah,
we got everything.
Real quick before we let you go, Em. What is this?
So we have a bingo number each day, and each day you come into the spot. If it's on your card, you get a stamp, and the prizes just get bigger the more stamps you got.
Look at that.
It's so fun.
No kidding. They've got a MUSE
That's
Plus
amazing.
membership, subscription membership. We'll get into all of that as we get to know Emily and her beautiful business. Em, great to see you. Thanks so much for stopping by.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you. We'll talk to you soon.
Take
Emily
care,
Muse Massage
You know,
Spa.
the cool thing about that is she's keeping people safe too, right? Like I think, and I get the sense, and I know her story a little bit based on having had a similar conversation when we had her on last year, I think. But her motive to get into it was to actually keep people safe, right? So
totally. Well, her experience in those skeevy places, like 15, 20 years ago, really defined what she wanted to offer for women, which is a safe environment, great place for customers to come and enjoy themselves, nothing too out of the ordinary. And she's an educator. You're right. She's a sexologist as well. She goes and does symposiums. She does couples clinics. She does all that stuff. So check her out. She's awesome. A quick break. We were talking about politics in there. I got to tell you something. Like, my mind has changed. I used to be all dirgy about politics. I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about American politics, Canadian politics. I don't want to talk about conservatives.
You're very standoffish about politics as a whole.
Don't like it. I think I'm into it now.
Why?
I really am.
I'll
explain.
This is a rather significant change.
It's a big change. I think we're going to start having politicians on the show. I think we're going to start talking to them about things, not real things, because of a couple of things I've seen over the past couple of days. And I want to start with something that is driving every hillbilly insane today. Did you see what Justin Trudeau did for Halloween? Your prime minister. He's your prime minister, by the way.
No.
Yeah. You didn't see what he did?
I did not see this.
He got dressed up as a convoy trucker.
I don't know why. I want to give him some.
You see that picture? That
I have to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry.
Do you see this picture of one of the most vilified divisional political leaders in the history of this country, Justin Trudeau? If you see this picture of him dressed as a convoy trucker after the battle that we've had in this country, after the hot potato of vaccines and vaccine mandates, and after 3,000 to 5,000 unemployed degenerates decided to get in their Chevy Sprints and pretend they were truckers in the city of Ottawa for 3 weeks, he waited till Halloween to troll not just the movement, but the political party, the Conservatives, his opponents that absolutely supported the movement, helped organize the movement. And he decided to get dressed up as a convoy trucker, fake trucker, I may add. There were no real truckers in there. The real truckers were working, making double time, sometimes triple time. If you ask a trucker, they'll tell you that. He decided to troll anybody.
I'm so sorry about that.
Dude, I'm glad you peed. He trolled anybody and everybody who A, went to the convoy, B, hates him, or C, lives in Western Canada with one of the greatest low-key Halloween costumes I've ever seen.
When you started making me laugh, I just about peed my pants, so I had to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry.
Dude, it's okay. You can't tell me.
That's
I know you don't like him. That is
brilliant.
Fucking that. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, I'm all in. I like politics in Canada now. I know I'm not interested in like the dirge and the rhetoric, but I mean, as far as content goes and blowing up your enemy with a little smile and a Mac Tac dinner jacket.
How do we know? How do we know he was like dressing up as a? Does it say it?
Look at him. Yes, dude. Everybody did. The Canadian border. Oh my God, Trudeau was a trucker. Ha 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 ha. And it's amazing how mad people. Like, I'm starting to like him. This picture actually was like a turning point for me because I can't stand the guy. And I'm like, he's done a decent job shutting up over the past year. He's kind of forged ahead with the business of Canada while Pierre Poilievre's been eating his lunch, and he has way ahead in the polls. And he said something a couple of weeks ago where he's like, 2 years left. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Not only is he figuring out, these kinds of things are the opening salvo for anybody that hates the guy to say, here it comes. I am going to spend the next 2 years absolutely sewering the people who want me out of office.
I think it's amazing.
Dude, and that wasn't.
I could not figure out what your change of heart was. That makes sense. That's brilliant.
Like, seriously, do you not like him just a little bit more?
No, but I will give him credit. I will give him, honestly, that's unbelievable. Good for him.
What?
And I'm not saying that lightly. That is so awesome. That, you know what? That's probably the most sincere, real thing that he's done since he's been in office.
Totally. Without question.
I'm not even kidding. I'm not saying that lightly. I don't think an ounce of truth or anything remotely him has come out of his mouth in the last since he's been our leader.
If he owns
I don't trust anything he says.
I don't trust anything any politician says. This is a pure entertainment for me. This is pure entertainment. And
oh
like
my
he
God,
has not been.
Oh no,
What?
Put that up.
What?
K-face. He should have been wearing a fuck Trudeau cape. Okay, flag as a cape.
I fucking love it. He's gonna, you know what he's gonna do, right? You know what Trudeau and the Liberal Party are gonna do? They're gonna ride the convoy dorks. They're gonna ride Bitcoin. They already started. They're gonna ride the alt-right shit that we've seen because you haven't been able to connect it. And I've been waiting for it. It started to happen this week too. Like, it's not just the slow, low-key, mocking troll job of every single person who hates him that was trying to camp out in Ottawa. Check out this little Bitcoin ad the Liberal Party put out too. This is fucking devastating. It's Pierre Poilievre, the dude that's leading in the polls, who refuses to get a security background check. By the way, he cannot get top secret clearance at all because he won't sit for it. This is when Pierre Poilievre, about a year and a half ago,
is that true? Why are you the only one I've ever heard say that out loud? What is that?
Everybody says
so.
It. Dude,
Why?
Katie
what do you mean?
Said it. So the Privy Council said it. He said
so. What does it mean? What like
it means he is not cleared for NSICOP top secret clearance, which is the national security apparatus.
Is he just being a dick and just saying no to something?
Nope.
You think he's hiding something?
Oh, I know he's hiding something because I talk to enough people who tell me these things. And
like, what would you be hiding? Like, give me an example
Great
of something
question.
that wouldn't get you security clearance.
Let's just back up. So Pierre Poilievre has not had his NSICOP security clearance. So last week, there was a big war update, top secret war update for Canadian politicians and parliamentarians, members of our national security apparatus, about Israel, Gaza, and Ukraine, and the Canadian interests and efforts that are going into that. And only a very few people are allowed to be there, right? But you have to swear an oath to NSICOP to keep that information that you hear top secret. Number one. Number two, you have to submit to and pass a national security background check, which he has not done. Now, he is not cleared for that information, and you have to submit to a national security background check anytime you get a different job in the government or if your status changes. Now, his status has changed significantly. He's still not going to be able to get top secret clearance for that information.
Well, then how can he, if this is a requirement of the job, how does he get the job?
That's a great question for someone other than me, like him, because I don't think he can. And
so
that's fascinating.
Even if he runs for
So here's what happened. He got married to a woman from Venezuela who's from a questionable, very, very questionable family. He has some significant ties to Stephen Harper, obviously, in the IDU. He's got significant ties to the people who arranged and organized the convoy, and he refuses to sit. Anyway, that's a whole other issue.
I just every time you bring it up, I'm always like, what is this? Like, what? Because he does do these things. He pushes back against these so-called, things that he's supposed to. It's the Trump playbook. Danielle Smith's doing the same thing. It's all just about creating conflict in every step of every day.
Absolutely. And to me, Canadians, we look down at what's going on in the States and we're like, that's disgusting. Like Donald Trump's on the stand today, right? He just got pinned with another $168 million figure for him fucking over banks. His son's on the stand today blowing it. He just got he's going to jail. He's going to go to jail. And he's like,
a lot more people are saying that. I still,
oh yeah, dude, he is going to fucking jail. because of the anger that he fomented and the bullshit and the lies. And Pierre Poilievre is directly tied to Mega Nation. They know each other. The IDU and Stephen Harper help him. Mike Roman, the dude that just got indicted with Trump, was Andrew Scheer's fucking campaign manager 4 or 5 years ago. Like, it's legit.
I didn't know about that connection.
So anyway,
I'm just curious if there's something specific you don't think that Pierre Poilievre has been like clear.
I know what he's hiding, and I can't say it here. I've been told. And I've alluded to it here already, but he is refusing to sit because that information comes out. Refuses to. Anyway, I want to get to what your point is, because all you have to do is, why don't you just tell me
off the show, and then I'll slip up and say it on the podcast one day.
Because I know that'll happen. That's why I don't tell you things. But to your point, you want to connect the way that Canadian, and this is why I'm into politics now. You want to connect the way, because I love this shit. Finally, we're connecting what's going on in Canada to that incredibly dangerous fascist MAGA movement in the States.
Yeah.
And it comes from Pierre Poilievre's own mouth. And this is all they're going to do. They're going to hang his own mouth on him for the next 2 years. I want you to watch this very carefully. It's from the Apple video. The Liberal Party put this out. I happen to fucking think it's brilliant. Watch this.
Should Canadians trust you with their vote, given, not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page.
Fake news.
Fake news.
The left-wing censorship regime,
Their woke censorship ideology
have turned our once great cities into cesspools of bloodshed and crime.
Has unleashed a crime wave like we have never seen.
We have to stop with political correctness.
Woke political correctness.
Defeating the radical left.
radical leftist authoritarian agenda.
We want those great Canadian truckers to know that we are with them all the way.
I'm proud of the truckers, and I stand with them.
Your organization
You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask us?
We have basically a liberal heckler who snuck in here today.
What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page.
That'd be the page. I mean, seriously. Again, brilliant, right? Not the only thing they
I
put
will
out.
say, I loved it. I was laughing all the way through. I will say this, and this needs to be said out loud on this podcast today. Everybody listening to this, if you are leaning that way, liberal, and you're praying that PP isn't going to get in, I think you better settle in for some serious disappointment. Trudeau's done way too much damage.
Yeah, I think he might. And I'm looking forward to it because that's the best content in the world, and I've got more.
Yeah. I'm wrapping my head around it because I'm not liberal. I have liberal tendencies. I'm in the middle. I'm unrepresented. I'm going to find it very difficult to vote Justin Trudeau in this next election. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do.
Probably gonna now just because of his Halloween outfit. That's going to get him about 1 million votes.
And I'll be honest with you. I'm terrified by the prospect of a PP government and the type of changes that they would make to set us back years and years. So there's no good options for me. But I think this needs to be said out loud. And again, I'm doing this a lot on the locker room as well. Justin is going to lose. I'm sorry. People are done with him. And we don't vote people in. We vote people out. And I know you don't care. And I don't care. But there are people out there that right now that are screaming.
Yeah, but they don't. They're most of those people aren't that smart. And I really do believe that on both sides. Like it doesn't. The apparatuses, the institutions in this country, it really doesn't matter who the prime minister is. Like they'll do some dumb shit. Trudeau's done dumb shit. Harper did dumb shit. Some of the shit they do is good.
To a point,
generally speaking, it doesn't even really fucking matter who is. And when
I worry about our position in the rest of the world, though. We're considered a bit of a joke right now because of Justin. And
you are out there. Yeah, out there that's the narrative. Out here, he's kind of considered a bit of a fucking warrior, like he is. But to that point, I'm excited for shit like that video. Those costumes for the next 2 years. Like we're in the content game. How could you not?
You're not wrong. And the one thing is, if they are going to save themselves, they need to start playing dirty, right?
Well, they are.
Right?
To your point,
that's
taking his own.
The only path.
Do you remember when PP was like, you know what you want to do to fight inflation? Put all your money in Bitcoin. You remember that?
Yeah.
You remember that? They did it again with his own words and his own people from his own party saying the same things. Guy's fucking insane. Watch this.
Protected your family business against inflation with a very clever financial decision that you made. We'll come back to in a moment. It involves Bitcoin.
He also encouraged people to cash in their fiat currency, their paper money, and buy Bitcoin. If they had done that, they would have lost $37,000.
I disagree with Mr. Poilievre's approach that you can opt out of inflation with cryptocurrency. Magic internet money fluctuates vastly, 30% or more in one day.
Anyone following his advice that we saw on YouTube would have lost 20% of their earnings. I mean, this is lunacy.
Come on, guys, we did it. We bought the shawarma with Bitcoin.
We bought the shawarma with Bitcoin. I got a new idea when it comes to covering this stuff.
That's a liberal ad? Is that a liberal?
Yeah.
Where is that
the Liberal
running?
Party of Canada? Yeah. It's all over social media. It's all online.
That's
it's
awesome.
It's every YouTube channel. Every time you open
Dean,
up
that's
YouTube,
amazing.
Isn't it fucking unbelievable?
Who did they hire? Like, they must have hired somebody with a good sense of humor.
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't get that kind of, you don't get that, like that. They hired, I got to find out who.
I feel like they hired us. I feel like they hired me because I'm watching those, like, and here's the thing. Is that we took that video, and I will take credit for it. We took that original video and made it go viral. It had like 5 or 6 million views. Like, it was fucking enormous, right? And then we started talking about Mosscrop's talking about it, Fawcett's talking about it. They're like, this is just take his words. Like, clearly you can show that he's lying, but if you take his words and you juxtapose his own words with what he just said, like, it's super easy.
Dude, we had a conversation.
And I'm watching that now, and I'm going to myself, oh my God, we get 2 years of some of the greatest hypocrisy politics I have ever seen in my life. And I can't fucking
I'm excited now. If this is how the Liberals are going to play the game, I'm very excited. We got to find out who they hired. I swear to God, there's a story behind who's writing this stuff, because it's awesome. It's brilliant.
You know what they're doing is they're just stealing from us. Because I love this shit. This is the kind of stuff we put out all the time. And now they're like, let's just do what Dean does.
The thing that I don't understand is, like, I'm obsessed right now with what's happening in Alberta. And I know you don't give two flying shits, so I have been bringing it up with you. But Danielle Smith is running these ads right now, and it's tell the Liberals tell.
Dude, we get Alberta energy ads out here. We get like, you have no idea.
You have no idea,
dude. We were approached by an agency saying, "Will you run these ads on behalf of the province of Alberta about why people in Ontario should email?"
Are you kidding? They offered
should email the federal government and tell them to butt out of Alberta's energy. Like, we got an offer from an agency to do that, and I'm like,
tell the feds. It's tell the feds.
Yeah, exactly. It was
tell
the feds program.
Okay, but Dean, you don't understand. Every second commercial break on our radio station has one. She has done a buy on every radio station in Alberta, and apparently outside of Alberta as well. There's fucking billboards. There's TV commercials. And it is blatant hypocrisy. Like, it is like, and I saw the thing on Twitter. I saw the ad on Twitter, and then I was like, oh, I got to check out the comments. There's 14,000 comments telling her and her government that they have their head up their ass, and they're still running them. I don't get it. Like, politics has changed to the point where, like, she knows her audience. She doesn't care what anybody else this is Trump. This is Trump playbook. They don't give a flying fuck, and they're spending millions of dollars to keep the ads going.
10 million. Your government gave us 10 million of your dollars for that ad. 10 million.
$10 million
of your dollars are in Ontario being spent on
to try to convince the population
that Alberta's got it bad.
That the federal government regulates their electricity bills. They don't.
It's a lie. Yeah.
Our electricity bills are twice, if not 3 times higher than every other province in the country because of UCP regulation. She's still running these ads. I'll go in tomorrow. There'll be another, like it plays on my radio station during my show 8, 9, 10 times. And they're not letting their foot off their gas. It's
you know why they do that? Oh,
It's
dude, it happens here. Doug Ford, he is going to jail. People in his government are going to jail. They just got pinched again. They got pinched again for changing zoning laws without any studies or any approval for their friends, just their friends. And only 4 people, all 4 guys that went to his daughter's wedding that stuffed Stag and Dough box with a whole bunch of money. It was proven. It's in the newspaper. It's everywhere. Everybody is like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And they're still running ads for it. He's speaking at a real estate conference this week. Like gas on the pedal. I mean, or pedal on whatever you want to call it. It's full on. Therm Spa. They stole a bunch of land downtown Toronto, Ontario Place. They're going to turn it into a Turkish casino because the guy that has the Turkish casino bought one of Doug Ford's businesses, and he says, in return, I want you to give me Ontario Place land so I could put a casino. We'll just call it a spa. It's not a spa. And they're still running ads for that. They're going to get shut down. What they do, right, in your case and in our case, these governments, and it's specifically conservatives that are doing this, they're creating this alternative reality to make you think that they give a shit. They don't. They don't. They'll say, oh, we're doing this for Ontarians. We're doing this for Albertans. Come and sign this thing. You go and sign it, and they're like, what great feedback. And you're like, dude, have you read the feedback? Everybody thinks you're a fucking moron, and no one wants this. They're like, no, that's not what we hear. We've got a high feeling, and we got a strong feeling that other people who didn't say anything want us to do this. And they create this all fucking crazy alternative reality, which is why I'm looking forward to politics, because those realities bust. Like if you look what's going on with Donald Trump in the United States, that alternative reality bubble of him being somebody.
But they're not giving up on it. They're not letting go. They're watching this thing fall apart.
Because they have to. They have to do it. And
they're in too far?
They're in so far. And the only currency they have with any voters who love them is how much do you hate the federal government? How much do you hate the feds? So everything is at the doorstep of the feds.
Well, we're waiting in Alberta. My prediction earlier in the week, Dean, we're waiting for this because she's doing this electricity bill thing and the power grid and the federals are, you're not going to be able to feed your family. And to her point, she is pointing out carbon tax and the price of energy as a whole. But still, if you can't see the hypocrisy that you put right out there in front of everybody and you still won't adjust the messaging, it's baffling to me. But then she wants to get out of the CPP and have the APP, which is a whole nother conversation. Apparently she's suggesting that she's going to give the province a referendum, so we'll get a vote on it. But I'm like, what's next? What is next? And then I thought about it while I was on the air, and I'm like, you know what it is? She's going to create some sort of separate immigration policy for Alberta. I'm like, she's gonna.
Dude, we had David Parker on from Take Back Alberta a couple weeks ago. Do you remember David Parker? We had him on with Max Fawcett.
Did he say
David,
that?
100%. He's like,
that's coming.
We want to leave Canada. We hate Canada. And I'm
she's
like,
gonna. That's the next thing. I think 100%. She's gonna. The problem with that strategy and this conservative movement, this very far right thing that we're seeing in a couple of provinces and at a national level, is I think that they have a sense of what the public thinks, and they're way off because they hang around the groups they hang around with, and it's the same thing with everybody. They're not getting out. They're not mixing it up with other people. And I think it's going to bite them in the ass. I really do. People are not, we're becoming less conservative. We're becoming less secular as days go by.
More secular, you mean? We're becoming more secular?
More secular, sorry. Honestly, we're sort of moving towards, so it still surprises me that we have such a left and a right version of politics in this country. I'm still surprised that nobody has said, there's got to be an opportunity for fucking 80% of the population to vote, down the middle.
Well, do you see what's happening overseas? Do you see what's happening in Israel and Gaza, right?
Yeah.
That's religious extremism taking over the entire argument.
Yeah.
Everything. It's what religious extremists do. Conservative Party's the religious extremist government, like of every province. Like you've got Scott Moe in Saskatchewan, just took down the Canadian flag, just made it illegal. The premier of Saskatchewan, the shittiest province in Canada, just a dump, just made it absolutely fucking illegal for a kid to go to their teacher and say, I'm being abused at home. Like literally, you know, and then you've got Danielle Smith, who's like, I want to take half of Canada's pension and I want to pay off oil and gas and call it an Alberta pension plan. Oh, by the way, we're going to leave Canada if we don't get it. Fuck, go ahead. I can give two shits.
But I think
I'm at that point too. I'm at that point where I see religious assholes who have inserted themselves into the governing process of all Canadians, right? Religious assholes who show up with a fucking broom and a flag on the end of it.
Yeah.
Whether it's for some skirmish that's happening in another country or some fucking vaccine that you don't want to get, where they want to not only take over the entire conversation, they want to make you fear them because they're in control. The money and the effort it takes for religious extremists to pretend that they're not is fucking astronomical. That's why they're doing this. But do I believe she's a religious extremist? Absolutely. I know she is. I know people she's banged. I know a lot about that woman.
A couple of other things that I think that are interesting about where we're at right now is I think that what's happening with the far right political movement and that connection to religion that you brought up multiple times on this podcast, not just this podcast, but also the network, I think it is a sign of desperation. I think that those groups, they realize that we are becoming more secular, that we are becoming less reliant on religion, that we're questioning it more and more and more, and they're panicking that they are going to. So what are they doing? They're injecting themselves into the politics and trying to take it over. And that's why I think there's such a blindness for anything. Like when Danielle Smith talks, no one else is in the room. She is doing things that she thinks she needs to do for all of Alberta without any knowledge of how Canadian I think Albertans are. Yeah. Listen, there are people here that are very angry about how the federal government treats us and still angry. There's guys driving around, lots of guys with fuck Trudeau stickers on their trucks and flags on their homes. And I get that, but I still think that group, if you sit down and you pin them down, are going to be more Canadian than Albertan. And I honestly, Dean, you're wrong about that. People are pro-Canadian in this province.
Oh, I know that I agree with.
That's
totally
what
agree
I'm
with.
saying.
I'm talking about the minimal person, that small group that has somehow managed to convince everybody else you should put us
bigger
in
than
charge.
It is.
Yeah. No, yes. I totally agree. I think if they hold a referendum on a pension, they're going to get fucking smoked. I think they hold a referendum on secession, leaving Canada,
they're going to get smoked.
Crushed. Because people in Alberta are just like people in every other province. When they don't celebrate Alberta Day, right? They don't.
No.
They don't celebrate what Albertans did in a war in the first or the second.
Absolutely. 100%.
They celebrate Canadians in Canada.
But the news you get out of Alberta now is that, that we're all fucking... we've all joined the Maverick Party and we're all leaving. And that's just not the case. And I feel like I need to say that out loud as somebody that lives here. I don't regret the decision to move to Edmonton. It's been great for our family. And this is a great province. It has lots to offer. But politics,
are you embarrassed
is not
on the national stage?
No, because I know that she's not a representation of me and the majority of people.
Yeah, but is there pushback from any specific groups to say, hey, listen, we're not with her? Like I'm Canadian first. I don't agree with where she's coming from. She's full of shit. She spent $100 million on Turkish Tylenol that doesn't work. Like is anybody out there pushing back?
The problem, Dean, is that I think most people are so sick of talking about it. So if you get into a public setting, you're out with 10, 15 people that live here and lived here a long time, and you bring up politics, you're going to quickly empty the room. So there is a very strong sense of disgust for politics, and it's not just provincially, it's also locally, and it's also federally. Like, it's tough to negotiate too when you're doing a show. Not that our show is politically minded, but occasionally in the news, we got to report shit that's happening in the world around us. And when you get into a certain topic, you can drag out, some ire from a handful of people. And even from me as a content provider, sitting there watching that come in, you have to be realistic. You have to go, okay. All right, Donald, Terry, and and Steve are upset at me. That doesn't necessarily mean that everybody thinks we should be leaving the Canadian pension plan.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
If, let's say, Alberta has a referendum on leaving Canada and having their own country, Alberta Stan, let's just call it that, Alberta Bama.
Let's deal with one more simple. If she actually does a referendum and asks us whether or not we should leave the CPP and create an APP, a Canadian pension plan versus an Alberta pension plan.
This wasn't my question. You can't hijack my question and take it in a totally different
because that's a
direction.
better question than leaving Canada.
Well, no, but let's just hypothetical this for fun. Let's just have some fun doing it. Let's say she has a referendum. It's like, we want to leave Canada, and it's successful. What do you as a Canadian in Alberta? Now, I know they wouldn't. I know they wouldn't.
No,
what if they did?
It's not a fun game.
Would you?
It's not a fun game because it's never going to happen. If she put a referendum out to leave Canada,
would you?
It would be 90% of the population would vote against her.
Oh, I know that.
90,
but let's
90,
game it
not
out.
Even, not 80, not 70. 90,
you don't want to game this
90%.
out. This is a fun game. I want to know if you would leave the province if the province decided to leave Canada.
No, no, I don't. No, I don't like your games. It's a mean game.
That is a serious question.
You're going to get the APP versus the CPP referendum is going to be a little closer. It's going to be 75% are going to say, what are you doing? Right? 25 are going to go, yeah, fuck off. Fuck Justin. He's spending it on vacations. He's not. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be that population. Yeah. Leaving Canada, it's going to be 90%. No, fuck off. What are you doing?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I just wondered if
it would be dumb of them to even talk about it or suggest that we'd be better off on our own. It'd be dumb. It would sewer her any chances of her ever.
Because if Ontario decided to leave Canada, I'd leave. If they were like, yeah, we're out of here, I'd be like, go fuck yourself. Dude, I'm considering moving anyway. And Alberta, by the way.
Well, you can't move. Because I'm moving to live in your basement.
Okay.
I'm moving
things
to
no
Toronto.
Good with Deb? Bad things happen? You in trouble?
No. She's coming with me. You're getting a whole family.
Oh, that's exciting. I can't wait. Lochlin Cross. He's the morning show host of 957 Cruise FM at Edmonton.
We're not going to talk about Rogan?
Room. Huh?
We're not talking about Rogan?
I kind of do, but like I don't
move
know
on.
what kind of time you have because he's so fucking short. I didn't know how short he was.
And
hang on.
See his costume?
Oh, yeah. What was he dressed
like? Dude.
What was he dressed like? He had a Puerto Rico shirt on.
There was a meme. Remember the meme? The guy at the baseball game that had long hair and he looked exactly like Rogan? And it wasn't Rogan?
No, I don't remember.
And it was
that.
a meme and it got out there. And the guy had a white shirt with red sleeves on it. And he had blonde hair. And it was a funny picture because it did look exactly like Rogan. Well, Rogan dressed up like that guy.
That's actually pretty funny. I like that. So a couple things. He was with Elon on his podcast.
Yeah, I've been listening.
And it was fucking bananas. Did you listen to it?
It's bananas. It's crazy.
It's like,
Elon's weird.
And I'm going to tell you something, kind of like politics where I'm like, oh, I get it. It's all a joke. Let's all have a laugh now. Now I get Elon and I get Joe Rogan to the point where I'm like,
this is what I've been trying to
start
tell
listening
you.
To these crazy bastards because they're so fucked in the head. It was just because like a full-on ketamine trip for like 2 hours.
Dude, it grows deep and you actually end up honestly
so much dumber at the end of it, but going, oh my God, I can't believe these people are fucking successful. Like one guy's the richest dude in the world.
He's a tool. He's a tool. He's likable though on some weird level. Elon is likable.
No, he's
because
not
he's such an idiot.
He's so fucking dumb. Like for the smartest guy in the world. To my point, and I'll save you the hassle of him telling him. Well, I'll play the first little bit.
I love that Rogan didn't explain the costume either. He just showed up in it.
I know. I thought it was pretty funny too. Now I find it even funnier. But this is just a taste of the insanity of Joe Rogan and Elon Musk doing a podcast together where Elon's convinced there's like some kind of pipe that's piping information into San Francisco zombie brains, turning people into like zombies. Like he's convinced. Watch this. It's fuck.
If you're a high-profile public figure,
that's the wrong one. Hang on, here it is.
Mike, you've owned X for a year now.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and have a dream that you didn't do it? and your life is infinitely easier?
Well, it's certainly a recipe for trouble, I suppose, or contention.
What was it ultimately that led you to make the decision to do it?
I mean, this is going to sound somewhat melodramatic, but I was worried about that it was having a corrosive effect on civilization. That it was just having a bad impact. I think part of it is that it's where it was located, which is downtown San Francisco. And while I think San Francisco is a beautiful city, and we should really fight hard to kind of right the ship of San Francisco. If you've walked around downtown San Francisco, right near the ex-FKA Twitter headquarters, it's a zombie apocalypse. I mean, it's rough. Have you been in that area?
Not lately. No.
Yeah.
I've heard.
It's crazy.
I've heard it's crazy. I've heard you really can't believe it until you actually go there.
You can't believe it until you go there. So now you have to say, well, what philosophy led to that outcome? And that philosophy was being piped to Earth. So, a philosophy that would be ordinarily quite niche and geographically constrained, so that the fallout area would be limited, was effectively given an information weapon, information technology weapon to propagate what is essentially a mind virus to the rest of Earth.
That's awesome.
I do kind of agree with him there, though. Thank God he took it over. Poisoning the world.
He thinks there's something's being beamed into the brains of people around Twitter headquarters, turning them into zombies, and it's just in that area.
You know what? Can I give you a hint? Can I give you a tip? Can I give you a tip, Rogan?
Hang on. Just wait. I'm not done.
Let me give you a tip.
You can. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. To that point. As if these are the only two takeaways, and I listened to the whole fucking thing, unbeknownst to me, and I laughed in 50 parts. I'm like, this guy's fucked. These two guys are so fucking high. One guy's getting hammered. They're on ketamine. It's pretty funny. And it gets better. Elon Musk was asked by Rogan what his finishing MMA move is going to be with Zuck. I want you to listen to it. His move.
Oh, this took about 7 minutes. You
just lay on the guy. No, it's just he's just going to lay on guys.
That part.
Yeah, he's just going to lay on some guys. Look at Joe's face.
Lie on you. I'm not going to put you in a lock or anything. I'm just going to lie on you. But I'm going to, position myself such that it's hard to get out from under me. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to lie crossways on you, and you try to get away. And you won't be able to get away. Because you couldn't. Just, like if a horse falls on you.
Right.
You can get trapped under a horse.
Right, but you're not a horse. What do you weigh, about 230?
Yeah, 240, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see his face?
You got it when you're listening to Rogan.
I like him now. It's a fucking.
I knew you would. I kept
see him through a very different lens.
We've done a lot of really good work here today.
Yeah,
you've come around with a lot of. Look in the green corner there.
What is that? What does green corner mean?
You can't really.
Why do you keep showing us your phone on the screen?
1.5. You got to speed him up, especially if he's got Elon Musk on. So he takes 7 seconds to formulate a thought every time.
But did you hear Elon Musk, the smartest guy in the world, his finishing move in MMA? And Joe's face is like, I don't think you know what you're talking about.
Can you get up underneath of a walrus? That's his point. I love it. I love the guy. He's funny. He's dangerous.
Oh, totally.
He's so narcissistic. It's not even funny.
100%.
And he's going to do damage. He's going to do damage to the world that we live in. And he doesn't realize his own hypocrisy because he's got so many people blocked that he doesn't agree with their views. So what's the fucking point? You're doing it the opposite.
These guys are just two fucking coked out, drugged out, ketamined out, super rich guys who are like, whatever, let's do whatever the fuck we want.
They ordered a pizza.
That's kind of what I like about it. And during the show, they ordered a pizza. Did they really? Hey, but it gets better.
He was trying to convince Elon that the best pizza in the world is anchovies and pineapple. So they ordered a fucking pizza while the podcast was. It's
kind of interesting. I mean, they're both morons. very wealthy, but dude,
I don't
like,
think
this
they're
is
stupid.
Oh yeah, they are. You can't be smart and go, "Hey, I'm Elon Musk. I'm the smartest guy in the world. What's your finishing move in MMA? I'm just going to lay sideways on you."
I'm a way better judge of dumb because I'm closer to it than you.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, they're not dumb.
Well, they're smarter than most.
Yeah.
But my favorite part was when they went out to shoot Elon's Cybertruck with an arrow.
Shot the Cybertruck.
I'm going to play this for you. You know, just
So
in case, because Elon wants to launch the Cybertruck coming up in the next few months.
Oh shit!
He's on
Bob
this
Knight just
tour
passed away.
Who did?
Bob Knight.
The
Basketball
coach.
coach.
Oh, you're
Basketball.
kidding. Oh, Indiana. R.I.P. But
crazy.
they're trying to sell the Cybertruck, and they're selling it by, they had, which is why I asked how tall Elon Musk was, because they brought Jordan Peterson and Elon in with Joe Rogan to take a picture in front of it. And
Joe's a midget.
Elon's 6'3". He's like a fucking little person. He's like the same size as Jimmy. He's tiny.
I think he's 5'6" or something. I can't.
No,
remember
he's like 5'4". I read that
Is
he's
he that
5'4". Yeah, he's just a tiny
he's
guy.
tiny.
Like
Yeah,
he can get one of those stickers that lets him park anywhere. That's how short he is. You can get a handicap sticker. That's how short he is. But they're trying to sell the Cybertruck, so they cook up this thing. He and Elon, because they're marketing geniuses,
stoned or drunk or something,
hammered, out, fucking so wasted. They're fucking was awesome. And it's like, can I shoot a 500-pound bow through the Cybertruck? And Elon's like, no way, dude. They're like, I got one parked outside. Because like, let's go shoot a fucking arrow through it and see what happens. Just in case, by the way, like this is, keep in mind, they're trying to sell this thing. Just in case those deadly highway archers are out there looking for you on your way to Gondor. Let me play you this clip. This is one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen in my life.
You might want to do it at a slight angle. You know what I mean?
It's awesome. I'm sorry. He brought the Cybertruck, ordered a pizza, and they got
shot
drunk.
arrows at it and got hammered. I mean,
we live in a fantastic world.
Don't
Dean,
we?
as soon as I heard he was on, I was like, okay. As soon as I left work today, I was like, I am listening to that. I swear to God, it's unbelievable.
It's like watching your two drunk uncles play with a fucking bonfire. It really is. No, I'll put gas on it. No, I'll put gas on it. You're like, fuck, I just want to watch everybody light themselves up. Like, that's how beautiful.
A couple years ago, there was a story down south where they were uncles. They got drunk and somebody had just purchased a bulletproof vest. So they decided to wear the bulletproof vest, take shots at each other. And one of them ended up in the hospital, just about died. But I'm like, we need more of that.
Yeah, we do. We totally do. And listen, I don't see those guys as thought leaders or like, industry insiders. And I don't see those guys as people I follow for like life advice. And I'm good with it now. Like, I'm just these are these two crazy bastards. One gets the richest guy in the world.
I've been trying to tell you for a long time to stop being angry at these
everybody
two people.
out there. Yeah. Listen, if you hate Joe Rogan, like everybody else has hated Joe Rogan, if you think he's irresponsible, which he is, and that's your biggest problem, then fucking leave that at home. Let him eat the horse paste. Let him talk about it. Let him shoot arrows at fucking Cybertrucks just in case, right? Like, and let Elon Musk go off about piping in mind viruses to people in San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Thank you for having the same appreciation.
Oh, I love it, dude. I'm like every Rogan episode now. I'm gonna go back and listen to the Jordan Peterson one. I'm like, I guess I look at it differently now.
Jordan Peterson ones are crazy. They're crazy.
Yeah. Well, the clips I see of them are fucking insane, and I'm like, no, now I get it. It's just crazy people being crazy. That's entertaining. I love it.
Yeah.
Right? That's incredible.
And I'm buying that fucking Cybertruck. I want that thing so bad.
You are nuts. That is the fucking. Okay, thank God you're joking. I thought you were.
I'm
it's the dumbest looking fucking.
I almost put down. You only to get on the list. You got to put $100 down. That is, I'm dead serious. Yes, I might. I've been on the Tesla webpage to put my name down, but I didn't think it was going to come out. I honestly thought that there was no way he was going to be able to deliver, because it's like what he was talking about, that thing. I'm like, there's no way.
It's supposed to
and he was
launch
saying
like
it was
a
only
year
going to be
ago.
like 70 grand or something like that. I'm like,
No.
you're kidding me. There's no way.
No, dude, that's the ugliest truck I've ever
I
seen.
want it.
Fucking, of course you do. Of course you do. Thanks for doing this. We're done now, right?
That's a good one today. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a fun show. Appreciate you being here.
I
Thanks
like
to
Emily. I like
Yeah,
Emily.
she's awesome. She's going to be back. She's an official partner. Hey, let's do this. The Dean Blundell Show, brought to you by MUSE Massage Spa.
Go get a handy.
Yeah, 1290 Finch Avenue West, Toronto, Ontario. Go to MUSE Massage Spa for all of your massage needs.
You need to start
There's a whole
working on your
Toronto
happy
schedule.
Your
What's that?
happy baby. You got to start to get more flexible.
I'm not going there. What for that?
I'm out of
good.
here.
I am well taken care of. I do not need any of that.
I know you want your salad tossed. Listen, you bring it up all the time.
I do not.
It's okay.
Talk
Wear
to you
it.
soon.
Wear it
Have
like a
good
badge
week.
of honor.
All right, bye. Brought to you by MUSE Massage Spa, MuseMassageSpa.com. Go there today. Check it out. Pick your Muse, pick your package. Be safe. Have fun. Live out your fantasy. And thanks to Em for joining us today. Her podcast called MUSE On The Mic will be at Crier Media as of, I believe, early next week. And you can check her out there. You can check out their Patreon channel as well. MUSE On The Mic Patreon. Super simple. I think it's just Patreon.com/MUSE On The Mic, if I'm not mistaken. And don't forget, thanks to Lochlin Cross. You can listen to him every single weekday morning at 957cruisefm.ca. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being here. I want to say a special thank you to my friends at Can Torque. They make rugged, hardworking torque wrenches for every application in heavy machinery, nuclear industry, railroad, forestry, steel industry. If you need a torque wrench, you've got a bolting solution you can't find a solution for, and you need that solution, they make, manufacture, calibrate, and take care of torque wrenches. They're the best in the world out of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Please stay in Canada, Alberta. We happen to like you. Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And they brought all the manufacturing back to Canada. They don't do anything outside of the country except sell these products, torque wrenches, to some of the most important people in the industry. They're that good at what they do. Go to cantorque.com for more information today. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for being part of the show. Thanks for giving us your time. Don't forget, everything we do can be found at Crier Media, which is crier.co. Rate, subscribe, YouTube, Crier Media, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube. Give us a follow, too, at It's Dean Blundell on Twitter. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.